Hi and welcome to Our Small Table. Today we're making scented rice and baked pumpkin. Here's our finished dish. Let's see how we got here. Because the rest of the recipe is fairly straightforward, today we'll mostly be dealing with the pumpkin. This is a pie pumpkin, which is also called a sugar pumpkin. In my market, the pumpkins are available in a large crate outside the store. So I simply grabbed one that I thought was the right size, took it inside and weighed it on one of the produce scales inside to see if I had about the right size. If it had been the wrong one, I'd gone back out and tried another one. It's not a big deal to go back and forth in the store. When you're buying one, you want to find one with a firm skin that's as blemish-free as possible and a bright orange hue. You can store them before you've cut them in a cool, dry place for up to about a month. After it's been cut, you can put it in an open plastic bag and keep it in the fridge for up to a week. You want to start with a cutting board that has some texture so it'll hold the pumpkin. And keep your fingers away from it, but keep a firm grip. We're just going to cut the top off. As carefully as possible. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be a slanted cut, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather keep my fingers and have a slanted cut than worry too much about it being perfect. And actually, I did that a little bit too close to the top. I don't have the center, so I'm going to have to take another little wedge off of it. Yeah, we're getting there. I have a pumpkin carving kit that I've had for years, which is why I have this little scoop. You do not need to use a scoop. You can just use a regular knife, or pardon me, a regular spoon, if that's what's easier for you. And I might have to do that just because it's such a small pumpkin. You just want to get in there and scrape out the seeds and the stringy fibers. I'm going to put all of this aside into a bowl so that I can roast the seeds later. And I'm probably going to have to open up this top hole a little bit more, but we'll see. If you don't like roasted pumpkin seeds, or if there's nobody in your household or neighborhood who likes them, you can feel free to throw the whole inner mess away. So I'm going to get this cleaned out. Yes, it is a messy project. The oven is currently preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. When I've got this all cleared out inside, then we'll be back for the next step. I've gotten a lot of this cleared out, but being such a small pumpkin, it's hard to get my hand inside. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half and then scrape the remaining fibers off of it from there. And just take your time, because you have to give quite a bit of pressure. And the most dangerous thing in a kitchen is giving a lot of pressure with a knife. And if it's not exactly half, it's fine, as long as it goes down close to half, since that bottom stem is pretty firm. It can be hard to cut through. So now we can really go at the last of those fibery strings. One medium pie pumpkin, which would be about 3 pounds, and therefore a little bit larger than this. This is about a 2-pound pumpkin. Gives you about 2 cups of cooked pureed pumpkin. So if you're using it for a pie or for pickling, things like that, that's how much you'll get out of it. I'm going to go ahead and continue scraping this until I've got it completely cleared out. And then this is going to go, we're going to brush them with oil all over and then place them cut side down onto an ungreased baking sheet, and it'll be baked at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 to 40 minutes or until the pumpkin pieces are tender. And then we shall be back. Okay, we've prepared some brown rice and toasted some chopped pecans. When I chopped the apricots, in order to make it easier, since it's only a few apricots, I cleaned my kitchen shears and I just cut them into coarse pieces. And I'm using golden raisins, sultanas this time, but any kind of raisins you prefer is fine. We're going to just mix in the nuts, the dried fruit. This here is salt, curry, cinnamon, and I am using cardamom because I had it in the house. It is optional though. Don't go and buy it, especially for this recipe, because it's not the cheapest of the spices. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not the cheapest. And this is already smelling absolutely fantastic in this kitchen. I should mention that as the winter goes on, the background of my videos will probably contain a little bit of clicking on and off of the heater. It's right next to the kitchen, and so there's not a lot I can do to reduce the sound of that. This is how one of those pumpkin halves came out, and we're just going to sprinkle it with a little bit of cumin. And then fill with about half of the rice mixture. The other half goes, of course, into the other pumpkin half. And that is all there is to it. Let's not lose any of that rice there. Thanks for joining me today on Our Small Table. Next time we will be making maple baked apple. The recipe we've used today is available at OurSmallTable.com, and it's also linked in the video description. Click subscribe so you don't miss out on the next recipe. Thanks!